Welcome everyone, Ian O'Brien here, and I'm sitting down to have a chat with Ginny today. Ginny's been learning to play the guitar now for about a year. I think her journey has been interesting and relevant in a lot of ways. I think it would be really good to share, and we'll get into some of the reasons why. And one of the reasons is that Ginny is an artist, and I think there's some good parallels between music and art, painting, so maybe we'll touch on some of those things as well, but let's get into it. So thanks for joining me, Ginny. Good to see you.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's start with just where we were a year ago now. What was your original motivation for wanting to play the guitar?
Well, I suppose it's one of those things I'd wanted to learn to play as a child, really, a long time ago. And then over the years, I've watched people play the guitar and been able to sing along to things with them playing. And one of my family members plays the guitar, and we'd gone on a family holiday, and he was just playing it, and everybody was singing along. And I thought, I think I wanted to do that once. Why don't I look for something? And I wasn't really wanting to learn to play in with a one-to-one teacher, actually face to face in my house or in my town, because I thought, I'm not sure I can commit to a specific time and place each week. It's not always possible. And I thought, well, let's have a look what there is online, and I found your course and thought, yes, that sounds like something I could invest in. Mm-hmm. So I think as a thing, it worked for me, and I thought, well, let's give it a go.
Yeah, lovely. So you were on holiday, and there was a family member playing some guitar, and there was sort of sing-alongs and things from that. Were there any particular songs you remember from that time?
I suppose they were all songs that I suppose most of them I knew, things from John Denver and the Beatles, Simon and Garfunkel. So I suppose all acoustic sort of ballads, I suppose. I like ballads. I mean, when my son was small, I used to sing ballads to him to send him to sleep. So I enjoyed the fact that I could sing along. But to watch him sort of singing and playing, I thought, wow, that is something I'd like to be able to do.
Wow. Okay, great. And where were you with your guitar playing when we first talked?
Well, I mean, my son had some guitar lessons with a very small guitar. I don't know whether it was a half size or 3/4 size, but it was a small guitar. So I'd had a go on that, and following what his teacher had been giving with the lessons he'd been having, and I just thought, I'm not really getting it, and neither was he. And then his guitar teacher moved to a different town, so that all ground to a halt, and he showed no more interest in it, and so we didn't really do very much after that, and so I wasn't playing at all at that point.
And then we had a chat, and you enrolled to work together on your guitar playing. Do you remember the first song that you learned to play?
I don't think I actually sang with To Let It Be. I think I just played it, and it would have been the Django chord. So I think that was the first one that I felt, actually, I could get the rhythm of that one, and I felt confident that it sounded as though it was the right sort of rhythm and speed. That was probably the first one that I did.
Cool.
But the first one I think I sang to was probably Bad Moon Rising.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, great. And so you learned a series of songs before you started singing.
Yes, I concentrated on just trying to play the tunes and the rhythms, and to get the right notes before trying to add. I think I felt that it was enough just trying to coordinate my hands and to read the music and get the rhythm right without having to add the voice as well. I just thought that was a step too far. Yeah,
great. It's coming back to me sort of over the last years. And then how did you know when was the time to bring the voice in?
I think it was probably listening to one of the mentorship calls that somebody was talking about wanting to play and sing. That was their sort of why they'd picked up the guitar and wanted lessons. And I thought, well, actually, that's what I want to do. And the only way I'm actually going to do that is, well, I've got to do it, And I think somebody had mentioned a couple of songs, probably, I can't remember who it was, but it would have been the Tears for Fears one.
Mad World.
Yeah, Mad World and Bad Moon Rising. And I thought, well, I like Bad Moon Rising. And I had played Bad Moon Rising just as the guitar rather than singing it, and I thought, well, let's give it a whirl. So that was the first one that I did, and I still play that because I like it. I find, although I quite like Mad World, it's less of a favourite, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough. And then you did what's the third one? King of the Road.
Yeah. I still play that because I like that. Again, I think it's just it's got a good rhythm from my perspective, and my voice is quite deep compared to a lot of women. I find that I can't really go for high notes, so that actually suited my voice quite well. I didn't feel I was straining too much, and the words were fairly easy to learn. It was. I think yeah, that's good.
Yeah, lovely. Great. You mentioned a couple of times, like, Mad World wasn't such a song that you're interested in, but something like King of the Road, you are. We talked about this a little while back, but yeah, what do you think is the effect of learning songs that you want to learn versus songs that you're not that excited about?
Well, I think there's. I just find it easier, I think, to put some of me into the song, because I feel it sort of, it makes my heart sing a bit. It's sort of, I really like this song. I really want to be able to play it, and I suppose at the moment I haven't found anything that I'm going to sing to with the next the Orange Pick songs yet, but I'm certainly playing some songs and trying to get the chord changes. So I suppose I've gone back a step in saying, right, I'm going to concentrate on my hands now and trying to get the chord changes more accurate, and not worry about singing at this moment.
It's the right thing to do, because we're finding songs that are kind of doable in terms of singing and playing with the coordination. It's within the context of sort of the levels, isn't it? So we've got Comfortable at White, you mentioned Let It Be at that, and then you did a couple of others. I think you did Annie's song at White Pick level, looking at that. And then once that is out of the head and it's comfortable and you're playing them, then we're bringing the voice in, aren't we? And you did a lot of the songs you're playing and singing are all Yellow Pick level, which you did really thoroughly. And now we're into Orange. It's more advanced changes. It's more advanced in terms of rhythms, coordination. So getting all of that so that your body can do it. You're not thinking about it too much. It's relatively automatic. And then we can bring the voice back in again. Yes.
Yeah, well, I think it's just a question of trying to do things at a comfortable pace and trying to do them in an order that doesn't completely throw me into not actually achieving any of them. I think trying to do everything all at once sometimes hasn't worked. Whereas if I concentrate on the playing first, and I mean it's the same with the singing. I actually tend to sing the song without the guitar. Just along to the radio, or find a backing track somewhere that I can just sing along to, so I don't actually have to worry about playing while I get the hang of the song and find out what the words are and learn those, and then try and put them together. And yes, I think it's does make it easier.
Yeah, absolutely. There's got to be a sort of a sequence to the order of learning while we're building the skills as we go. Do you find the way we sequence things beneficial, like in terms of the color level, but also if we jump on a call and sometimes you'll ask me about songs, or I'll recommend a particular or a couple of songs to go into. Do you find that helps with the structure of learning?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, certainly because there are so many songs available, and it's knowing which ones are going to use the chords that I'm currently practicing, but also which songs people have found, I suppose, easier to sing along to and play, because that really points you in the right direction, and not feel you're bitten off too much, really. So yeah, I think once you start to see how one song works, like with Mad World, then I think, oh well, Mull of Kintyre, I can play that and I can sing along to that. It's a similar, sort of, you're almost singing along at the same, hitting the first beat with the word as well. So it does make it easier.
Some of that stuff we can break down. I think where you've come to through white to yellow to then the chords, the changes, the strumming, to then putting the voice on top and integrating it. When you feel ready at orange to start singing as well, I think there's a lot we can do in terms of just breaking it down. What is the coordination? What beat is the word coming in on, etc. And I think you'll find a lot of it will begin to kind of click into place now because of the songs that you are singing, playing, the coordination that you have. It's certainly easier than the first time you try to sing and play kind of thing, and that coordination. Do you know how many songs you've learned over the last year?
Yes, I suppose about 11 or 12 that I feel fairly confident.
It's good. It's really good. And singing and playing like multiple songs, I think, is a really big deal. Do you ever play songs? Do you ever show anybody your guitar playing, like family or friends?
Not really, no. I mean, my husband and my son do wander in occasionally and hear me singing and playing, and occasionally they'll say, "Oh yeah, I recognise that." So that's progress. But other than that, I haven't really shown anybody yet. No. Potentially Christmas, we have got the family there. It is possible. I know that my sister likes a good sing, so yeah, maybe we'll do something. But yes, it's not something I've really done much of so far.
That's next then. Let's do that this year for Christmas. Because you've got all the skills you need. And there was a moment, I think, when it really clicked. Like with King of the Road, it's really musical, it's really tuneful, it's really expressive when you do it. Like it's really alive. I think we want to keep going with that, not come back
and back. Yeah. No, I really like that. But I think another thing it dawned on me while I was looking for other songs was actually I like it because it's a ballad. Really, it's a story of somebody's existence, and I actually like that. I thought it was telling a story. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something in that. Do you see a parallel in, because you paint, do you see a parallel between being drawn to songs that are ballads with a story and the stuff that you create?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, when I'm painting or thinking about painting, I'm thinking, what am I going to paint next? I've got an exhibition coming up later in this month, and I mean, I've done most of the paintings for it now. But at one point, there was, okay, I haven't got many things to show. What am I going to paint? And it's about really what is it when you see something, most of mine are landscapes, I must admit, but when you see a landscape, it's what is it that you want to say and show people about this landscape? What's the story that you're trying to transmit, that you really want people to see and to think, wow, that's how I see it, or that's how I imagine it to be, because I don't very often, it's rare that it's an exact painting of a scene. It's usually artistic license, but the whole thing is trying to build up a feeling of being there and what it's actually like. And I think that's the same in a way with the music, as you're trying to tell a story. Well, to me, it's trying to tell a story with words and music to bring that story to life.
Yeah.
So yes, it is a very similar thing in a way to painting.
Superb. And that's one of the key things, really. When we get to the point where we can play a song on the guitar and we can sing it like we know the words. Obviously, memorization is a stage we go through if it's important. Obviously, we can play from the sheet, we can memorize, but then it's really that bit where we're expressing something, like we make the song our own, and we're communicating something. That's the key thing. Like, there's a huge difference in somebody playing and singing a song and sort of ticking the boxes in terms of coordination and stuff, but then actually having the intention of like communicating the feeling of a story and the sense of like what that experience is like. It's night and day. And I think that's one of the big differences between, it would be good to watch back like the videos that you did, the difference between Bad Moon Rising when you played that and the difference between King of the Road when you played that. You're communicating something, you're really expressing something. And I know that sounds abstract, but it really shows in how the music comes across, and you can hear it without, you videoed it and stuff, but you can hear it in just an audio recording like this. We're willfully communicating something to somebody. It's really good. Like, I think we've come a really long way. Like, I think it's fantastic, and I think we need to get you playing some songs to some people that you want to. That you love. I think that's the next step. Given the experience you had with the relative on holiday and stuff.
Yeah.
You said to me maybe a couple of months ago, and I think this is really significant. You said to me it was a quote, that unused creativity isn't benign.
Yes. Yeah.
Can you?
Yes, Brené Brown, I think, was the author of that quote. Yes. Yeah, and I mean, to me, it's always just stuck in my head, really, that you if you're a creative person, well, everybody's creative in different ways, but as a creative person, it's almost like you just have to create something and get it out there, and it sort of gnaws away at you if you don't, and I still feel that. I mean, it's about it with paintings as well. I can see something that I really want to paint, and if I don't get the time to do it or other things, but I can still feel it in the back of my head gnawing away. And sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night, and then if I start thinking about painting, that's it. I'm not going to be going back to sleep, because suddenly, I've got colours and textures and things going through my head. But it means, right, when you get up, you're going to have to go and actually get on with this and paint it, because it's nagging, gnawing away at you. And that's what I think, it's that quote comes back to me every time. It's just such a correct. Well, it's just correct. It's just the way it is for me.
Superb. I identify with this a lot, and what it made me think about is also not just a person who views themselves as creative, but often with what we do, other members that maybe they've done a bit of music when they were young, or maybe someone gave them the idea that they weren't musical, or music's for other people to do, and maybe they've done a career that's very logical and very rational, and they've gone through their lives being really logical and really rational and really sort of process based and methodical and all those things, which is fantastic, but it's sort of one half of the coin in some ways. And I see those people when they pick up the guitar, they don't think of it as a creative thing, and it's really just about learning some songs that they love and things like that. But it starts opening out these other aspects of them as a person, things that they've kind of put away for a little while, and it really kind of bleeds over into just how they are, like how calm they are, how the ideas that are coming to them, and sort of how they're communicating with the people in their families and things like that. And I definitely, like you said, everyone's creative really, and I really see that, that it can happen with people who have never considered themselves to be creative for for a very long time, and then open something very human. Fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I suppose parallel that I at a very young age at school was told I couldn't sing. I think in those days everybody lined up, everybody started singing, and then the singing teacher went along the line and said no, 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 yes, no, and that's it. That was, you were just chosen. You're not a singer. So but years and years later, I suppose, I don't know, I was in my 30s, I decided I was going to learn something new every year. And so I went to a singing teacher, and said, I don't want to pay for lessons unless you say I can sing. Anyway, I could sing, but it sort of made me realise that just because somebody told you when you were, 9 or 10 that you couldn't do something didn't mean that you can't ever.
Degrees of wrong, I think, but people, we carry that with us. Like we hear it, over a lifetime. That sort of echoes around a little bit, and then you start taking it on a little bit, and it's nonsense. It makes me so angry, those teachers who do that stuff, because they're literally selecting for people who can do the thing that they're supposed to be teaching them to do.
Yes.
It's not cool.
No.
Hey ho! That story that you just told, almost everybody that is in the process has a version of that. Some idiot said that. Yeah. Well,
I think that's the way things were taught. That's just the way it was. So I think now it's very different. So.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Ginny. It's been really good, and I'm looking forward to where we go from here. You're well on your journey of playing the guitar. You're very humble about it, but what you're doing is really good. It's really musical.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Super.
welcome.
Trailer for sale or rent. Who's the left? No phone, no pool, no pets. Ain't got no cigarettes, but 2 hours of pushing broom as a 8 by 12 boy. Man of means by no means, king of the road, the boxcar midnight train, destination old worn out suit and shoes, ain't got no local stories I have found. Short but not too big around. I'm a man of means by no means. King of the road, I know every engineer on every train, all of the children and all of the names, and every handout in every town, every lock that ain't locked when no one's around. I sing trailers for sale or rent, rooms to let, 50 cents. No phone, no pool, no pets. Ain't got no cigarettes, but 2 hours of pushing broom at a 8 by 12 4-bedroom. I'm a man of means by no means. King of the road,